Welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, we're talking about cycles on the internet computer, what they are, how they work, why people are talking about them, and can internet computer actually become deflationary? Now, there's a nice little write-up here on internetcomputer.org about what cycles are, and I'm just going to expand on this a little bit more. Cycles are basically the equivalent of gas on the internet computer, kind of like how Ethereum has gas fees, right? Somebody's got to pay for these transactions, data storage, any other operations that happen on the network. So when it comes down to it, internet computer is in a league of its own with the reverse gas model. And this basically allows users to use applications on the internet computer for free, even though the developers have to pay for these transactions on the backside by converting ICP tokens to cycles. Now, the cost in how much cycles the developers will need to purchase or use, it's just determined, like I said, on the amount of resources required to fulfill those transactions, those requests, memory usage, data storage, things like that. Something cool happens, though, when these ICP tokens get converted to cycles. And that's where Definity's data analytics director, Kyle Langham, comes into play. Give him a follow at Kyle Langham if you're interested in keeping up with some of the data-driven metrics of the internet computer. Or you can go ahead here and check it out at the ICP dashboard, which we'll talk about in a couple days. Now, Kyle has been dropping some absolute alpha on these cycle burn rates. And over the last 21 days, we have seen a 90-day average increase by 13%. And this is a big deal because once these ICP tokens are converted into cycles, these cycles are then burned. And that's where we see a lot of these burn rates and stuff, and these big mountainous peaks of cycles being burned indicate that there's something big possibly testing the waters when it comes to deploying some sort of application or something of that nature. So in theory, as these cycles get burned, it will go ahead and burn ICP in the process. And we're going to get into what it would take to basically get ICP into a deflationary setting in just a moment. But really, when it comes down to it, I just want to touch on the canister side of things. If you're not familiar with the term canister, it's what Definity is basically calling a smart contract. These canisters are far more capable smart contracts than really any other blockchain out there. So developers, like I said, manage these canisters by ensuring that there are enough of these cycles stored within these canisters. And really the downfall here is that if a developer forgets to top off these canisters, basically the applications will stop functioning. Luckily, there is an easy fix for the developers, is that they could just dump more cycles into these smart contracts and things will resume normally. So the interesting thing about these cycles is that they are very cheap for developers to purchase. I mean, in some instances, depending on the application, dev might buy 10 ICP and it might be enough to run their application for years. So that's just an example. So it's an important for the developers to maintain their canisters and things like that, because it's a direct link to burning ICP. And when it comes down to it, in order to figure out kind of like what ICP would need to do, let's just say within the next year, ICP would need to basically burn 8%, 8.2% of the supply for ICP just to remain neutral. And we would really need to see cycles being burnt at least 8.3% of the annualized rewards to see any reversal in inflation. So you can kind of see that on the dashboard. We can see that right now the total supply is about 550 million ICP. And you can see that over the last few years, the total supply from, we'll just say, March 10th, 2021 has gone from about 395 million ICP up to 550 million ICP. So the bear market certainly didn't help when prices were super low. More ICP was minted to basically pay out rewards in the governance system. So, when it comes down to it right now, I think that ICP is still a little ways from becoming deflationary. But let's just say the amount of cycles being burned would need to be greater than 8.2% in order to reverse that inflationary setting. So with that said, I do think that it's an interesting situation for Internet Computer, one that makes me very bullish to see huge spikes in the network's burning of cycles and things like that. Just in the last month alone, we are seeing a lot of cycles being burned. And you can kind of see that with these cycles being burned, we'll likely see higher transaction rates and things like that. We are seeing that there are over 531,000 smart contracts deployed on the Internet Computer. This is up about 200,000 smart contracts within the last year. So I do think that right now, even though Internet Computer is definitely in its infant stage as far as being a blockchain, that as time goes on, we are going to see some incredible things really happen. And at the end of the day, Ethereum is an inflationary and deflationary blockchain, just like Internet Computer, and it's doing just fine. So I think that with all of Definity's patents, with all of the Internet Computer's capabilities, which basically exceed all the other blockchains probably combined, we will likely see ICP in the future really start to flip that burn rate to a high level. And I do think that we will start to see ICP get really shredded up hard, to say the least. So if you guys enjoyed this, feel free to hit me up on X. This is where I post a lot of charts and things like that at Real 6 Fig. And I'll see you guys all on the next video.